Hey guys, and welcome back to Fleetyards Reviews. I'm Captain Foley.
And I am Commander Cockins. Welcome to another Orville week.
Yes, we love Orville, don't we?
Yeah, it's a nice thing to end the week on, you know?
Yes. So we're going to be talking about episode 4 today. If the Stars Should Appear is the name of the episode. And I'm excited because this is a great episode. Lots in it and lots to cover. So
I guess what was your overall thoughts on this? Sort of a quick summation, and then we'll go directly into the scene by scene.
Great episode, great sci-fi, very TOS oriented as far as I could tell. There was quite a few references to a few other TOS episodes and one or two other things that I'll mention. I don't want to mention that right this second, but overall, great episode. I really enjoyed it. We saw a lot of new tech, a lot of new cool features, and learned a lot about some of the characters, and it was just overall well done. Like I said in the spoiler-free review, great cinematography. The pacing was a little in one or two spots, but overall, I think it accomplished what it was trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's a good final line to say. I think they set out with something. It's a good script, it's a good story, it's a good premise, and they realised the ambition. Again, we're really minimalising the comedy aspects. Again, considering the original trailer, the first episode, it was a joke, a 2-minute. This is really subdued. I mean,
it was much more organic comedy. Like, it just fit in with the conversation.
Yes.
It wasn't forced.
Yeah, it was much more these characters ad-libs, silly things.
Yeah.
Which is it's a blessing and not a blessing, because it does slow down every scene because they're saying extra dialogue, and if it's not really that clever, it doesn't work. But if it's really good, it's like, oh, that's I mean, what did you think of how the show's evolving into something way more drama than I think any of us thought?
I like it. I like that fact. I wasn't sure what to expect going into this show. I expected more like a Family Guy vibe, and I love Family Guy. So either way, I would have been happy, whether it be silly sci-fi or drama. But I like the mix that we're getting, and it is focusing more on the drama aspect. But like I said in another review, I think there's going to be 1 or 2 episodes that are just going to be goofy episodes that are just going to be something fun and something really silly. And even TNG and other Star Treks were like that. They had those episodes that were just plain lightheartedness, and then you'd have a couple serious episodes and then another lighthearted one to break up that monotony. And I think I'm looking forward to the kind of this more silly, goofy episodes, but at the same time, these are done so well with the dramatic ones, and just a little bit of humor that makes me laugh out loud. And I don't laugh out loud at a lot of things, but I get the odd chuckle out of Orville. Just the where a joke is inserted and how it's delivered. I think they're doing a great job. Yeah,
there's very few sci-fi comedies that are actually comedies. There's a couple of other British ones that are more comedy, and they don't have a legacy because there isn't a core story there. Red Dwarf is a weird exception. They balance the comedy with the story, and especially in some mid to later episodes, the story's actually really, really good, and yet they're joking every 2 lines. This is a far more on the drama side, but I think it will hopefully have a longer legacy because the stories are good, the characters are good, where it's going seems interesting. So it will have a longer life as just a well-made television show. Whereas if it was just another Family Guy, there was that Seth Green show that was going to be like chibi Star Wars characters doing stupid things, a sketch show, and it's like no one would remember that in a year, because they're just not. But this was fun. But let's do a scene by scene. So the first scene, unexpected for me, was a continuation on the Montclair child storyline continuity. And again, not sure I thought continuity would be a thing on. What did you think of this kind of drama-filled-ish scene?
I rather like the fact that they tied into the last episode, as last week on, basically, but not by doing that. I thought it was great. And to see, I love the way their quarters are set up. I mean, the baby at the end of the bed. I was wondering where they were going to put the baby. But I mean, it's eventually going to need its own room, so I'm just kind of curious about that. But no, I thought it was interesting. This is going to be an interesting plot point. Their relationship through the whole season, I think, is going to be interesting. I rather enjoyed the fact that they threw that in at the beginning.
I found it genuinely uncomfortable, which I liked. It was, it was good, but I did appreciate, again, like I said, it wasn't forced humor. The fact that the dude went to the replicator-esque thing, and what is comfort? That's it's very clever. It would have been nice if you didn't go for a human one, because then why is it always humans? But it's a mostly human ship.
I thought the same thing, even though the computer did mention another one
Yeah.
before the ice cream. But yeah, I thought the same thing. He's going to go into the ice cream, and it's like, yep, for sure.
But as a very natural, yet they're almost fourth wall breaking jokes. They're things that you might consider if you were in this situation, but the show can't be self-aware enough to do it. But this is one of the great things of the show. It can do it, and I really liked that. And again, it was sad and tense, but also builds up the day-to-day life of these officers. They can go to this Replimat and build new things, or get food on demand, or all these things just. And as we talk about medical tech later on, it's sort of day to day, which is really interesting. And then obviously they watch Sound of Music, which I have seen Sound of Music, guys. I know a lot of you say I hadn't seen the reindeer one, but hey, a lot of movies. But I have seen Sound of Music.
And I made a note here. I think I mentioned it in another review as well. I love the fact that they still watch TV. That's one thing that bothers me about Next Generation is they don't refer back to old Earth shows, which would obviously exist. I mean, entertainment is still a thing that humans need. I know you have holodecks now. You could probably convert these shows to a holodeck format, or even shows from different cultures. I would love to see Bortus's culture, a show from there. It'd be funny to see a sitcom of theirs on the screen.
I mean, that would bring down the relatability for the average audience, but the sci-fi lovers in us want that extra touch. But I think this worked really well. Although not what I would consider a feel-good film. But okay.
And the interesting thing is, he asked for that, and it started there. It's like it's like a network program that's already halfway through that it turned on. Whereas in the future, you would think they wouldn't have networks, obviously. I don't know. I just thought it was an odd choice for a movie, and an odd place to start it.
It's like on Airplane, middle of Airplane.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 minutes in, you're laughing. Much better choice. Don't call me Shirley. He's like, Shirley. You could. Anyway.
Yeah.
Next scene, Stuart.
Next scene, there's star mapping, which is cool because we always hear about charting gaseous anomalies or whatever in Star Trek, and you got to think how mundane that would be. I mean, for us, it's like, I would love to be on the bridge doing that because I'd love to be on a starship. I'd love to be in space. But at the same time, it's like, no, that's their
2 hours of this.
Yeah,
Bored.
that's their everyday grind.
Yep.
And I love the graphics that they have on the screen. One thing that bothered me about this scene, though, why is every other main bridge member on the bridge already, but Bortus's shift doesn't start for another hour? You would think that they'd have the main crew kind of scheduled at the same time, and then like the night crew, because you want to build that camaraderie between your shifts, I think. So I don't know. I thought it was odd that Bortus was starting an hour later.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, maybe he can work more hours or less hours because his race can do. If a sleep cycle in any race is like needs 13 hours sleep, then maybe the cycles are different. It would be odd to make every race be on the same clock if they're not okay with that.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I did kind of feel sad for these two front guys. I get why and how they're trying to make those two do lines, but the first set of lines I did not like about them. The second sort I thought was really good. We shot it, boom, woohoo, all that stuff. But their interplay in this episode I thought was kind of weak and didn't enhance their characters. And again, I just feel like we need to give I think it's Jamal. What's the other guy's called? I wrote it down somewhere. We need to give him an episode of his own, just a whole episode, just his perspective.
Yeah, they'll get those, I'm sure. I love their interplay, those two. That's like me and my buddies when we're just hanging out. The kind of stupid crap we talk about. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. It's just very the same as last time, Yeah. I would like to know a bit more. But then, Stuart, the story really begins, and it is... but they're surprised by what it is. And we do this big zoom out, and titles, and then we see it. And what did you think of this plot? Or at least the start of this plot?
I thought, by God, that's a big ship.
Yeah.
We find out it's 2,000 years old, so I was very intrigued right off the hop. And it is huge.
790 square kilometers internal volume, fully the New York scale, which is pretty sizable.
Yeah, I would say so. So I was pretty impressed, and I had a vibe of where it was going as soon as I saw that. More so once they got inside, but because it could be anything at this point. It's a derelict ship as far as they know. So, But yeah, I was thinking, oh, they're not gonna. Oh, and then they get on the ship, and I'm like, yep, they are. I kind of saw it coming because, anyway, I thought it was a cool looking ship, and yeah, what do you think about this thing?
When they started zooming out, or when you see deals, I was like, oh my god, Borg reference. Like that first close, I was just like, well, that's kind of Borgy. Then it pulls out.
I never thought that.
Well, then it pulls out. It reminds me of Mega Maid. That sort of model design. I was like, it's you know, it's a thing. It's a very odd ship to design, I can imagine, because the purpose is so specific, and yet the ship around it really doesn't make a difference, and yet has to be designed. But I was kind of pleased, and later on they say this is the biggest ship of this kind we've ever seen. So there is now a precedent for scale, and this is obviously ginormous, but these big ships aren't a thing in this universe. You know, even say with these advanced races, they don't do ships that are, you know, miles long, which is again nice to set these bars of where the limits are. Yeah. And then 6 months it's going to hit the sun. So boy, they got that. You know, 2006 years or 2000 years and 6 months, and they got there right at the last second. How lucky were they? Seriously.
Pretty lucky. But yeah, I thought the CGI in these shots was cool. Seeing this tiny little ship and then the big super ship behind it, and the coloring of the hull on the Orville on this one is really nice. It's kind of like a silvery. I don't know if you noticed that in a lot of the shots, more so than the white, and I think even more so than in the past 1 or 2 episodes where it was. I really love the way they're doing the CGI in this show. So
yeah, they're clearly iterating it depending on how they feel. Like they're sort of seeing what works best.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scale, you really felt the scale, and you can't show it with pictures. You got to actually watch the episode. You know, those sorts of panels are really quite hard to do, but it felt like a moth. It helps it's so organic shaped anyway, but it felt like this little creature on this big thing. And then we get Jafflet, the only gelatinous crew member. That was that two episodes in a row, and in the pilot. That surprised me.
I'm sure we're going to see him a lot more. Hopefully, he has more of a major role in at least one episode. I would like to see one kind of focused on his character. Maybe that'd be neat.
But what do you think of seeing basically a very similar scene to last week's?
It bugged me a little bit because she knows why he's there, and if he's just hanging out in sickbay for the sake of talking to her, why is he on the bio bed? I mean, I thought it was odd that he was back in sickbay.
Yeah, I kind of got... The acting was very different to last week's. I kind of got the feel he actually was... Because it said he was kind of sad. Yeah. And that he had a history of depression and that he's just lonely. And I kind of actually felt like he was trying to hit on her because he liked her originally. But no, he's been there a few more days. I mean, because they just left Earth. He might have been a new addition to the crew. We don't know. Yeah. He might actually genuinely be lonely. And I kind of felt more for him like... Just, you know, he wants a kind of a friend, but sort of fail. And then the end line I thought was pretty amazing. It looks like another night with the toothpaste.
Yeah, because Sylvia looked at me and goes, I wonder what he does with the toothpaste.
Yeah, what does that mean? But
maybe
great.
It's like Vaseline. I don't know.
It could Canadian.
Oh, man. So, yeah, that was interesting. Next thing that we have here is the shuttle launch. I'm really digging these shuttle launches. The way that they do it, the ship looked really good from the back in that shot. I had to actually rewind it and go watch again because I like that shot. Yeah, I'm enjoying seeing the shuttles launch. I think it's way more exciting than transporter effect. So I'm kind of glad they don't have transporters.
It allows them to have conversations. It's like an elevator. It lets them have conversations between scenes, which can add something.
Elevator.
Well, yeah,
we'll talk about that later too. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. And then they were looking for a port to dock with, and there was only one port on the lower side that Isaac could detect. I thought that was odd for a ship that size.
It service door at the bottom of the sewers in Manhattan. I don't know. It's just. It would have been nice if it was like a docking bay or like the trash release valve, like something less than a door that literally is basically ideal for our purposes. You know, that's fine. And I will say this back shot, and please go watch it again, guys. I feel like they didn't have the red detailing last few weeks. I felt like they're changing the back
of the ship.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing the red or the yellow before.
I don't either. That's why I went back and watched it, and I'm like, that's really nice. I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, I mean, especially since we've seen this ship and we focus on this back view specifically for the shuttle bay, I'm pretty sure they're changing. Like, there's more contrasty colours here than there ever was.
And the interior of the shuttle bay looks more white and blue than it did in the first episode, where it was kind of a yellowy color.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Can't speak to that. And I kind of felt when the ship was going up to this big ship, I loved the fact that was so TMP music.
That was literally almost exactly from the motion picture,
and it was beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, it was so noticeable, so recognizable to me, and I'm like, I couldn't quite lock onto it. I'm like, that's not obviously Star Trek. What is that? I'm like, wait a minute, that is obviously Star Trek. That's the motion picture, pretty much.
Yep. And it was lovely. It was really nice. And then when they dock and they had alien riffs. If the first alien or the aliens, when they're trying to go to this tense thing, and I love that. The music in this episode is really good.
Yes. The music in all the episodes have been pretty good so far.
Yeah, and for different reasons as well. They're obviously saying, right, listen to this bit, try and inspire some of your stuff. And I really like the lighting. This whole, I know we weren't exactly sold on the thing that comes out, but with the different lights, I love that visual. You know, and you can imagine if you want to get really sciencey, those blades might be decontamination filters. You know, they're passing through. You know, you could get even more sciencey with it if you wanted to explain.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense actually.
Yeah, so I really like this scene. I wish almost. I don't tend to like the whole pretty generic. You know, we've gone to a ship. It's all, you know, stroby and black, and there's one dude that's gone insane. He's going to try and kill us. I don't tend to go for that storyline, but I kind of wish, based on how they were starting this with the alien vibes, like I wish they'd gone for that more darker. We see the spaceship episode than what ended up being. I like the episode, but I kind of like it was going in a certain direction, and it really sort of didn't right turn, but it, you know, went the other direction.
Yeah. So they dock at this door, and Mercer goes up to the door and says, "It looks like it hasn't been opened in centuries." And I'm like, or 2,000 years, because the ship's been adrift for 2,000 years. That's just the dumbest line to add in there. Like, obviously.
And what's the difference between, you know, 400 to 800? How can you see the difference between 400 and 800 years not being opened? Because there isn't even any dust on this. I mean, this was open to space. What is there that shows it's not being open for hundreds of years, not thousands? I mean, it should be, you know, you could have saved that line.
Yeah, and then came another example of poor story writing. Allura, can you open this jar of pickles for me? Again. He couldn't alter that line a little bit. I mean, that could be his thing.
I think they took that out of the... Because I think they took that out of... That was in the trailer. But I think they took that out of the first episode and put it in this one instead. Like, I think that was...
It was in the first episode, too.
Are you sure?
Absolutely 100% positive. I watched the first episode 4 times.
Okay, fair enough. I thought they sort of cleverly...
No.
Yeah, okay.
I thought that was just an odd choice for that. He didn't alter the line at all. Could you open this jar
to be fair,
cheese
though,
whiz for me?
To be fair, though, if it's like 3 months later, you're not going to remember the one line you have that one time, you auditions between. I mean, he's not the most creative of men. He might reuse his own jokes.
That's true. But
it would have been better in like episode 8. But okay, I thought that was... Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Then we get inside, and...
This surprised me after the fact. That door is literally the door. That hull is razor thin. I mean, that is the door.
Yeah.
That is...
I never considered that.
For a ship that absolutely mind-bogglingly huge. That is the most tiniest, thinnest hull I've ever seen in a starship, almost. You know,
And the reason we know that is because you can see the blue lights just beyond the door opening there, which is obviously the docking clamp thing.
Yeah. I mean, she could probably punch through that wall. She's that strong, you know, or dent it.
Depends what it's made of, right? It could be really strong material, but...
Well, we know they haven't got fastened lights, so they're not that advanced. They just have scale, not necessarily advancement on their side. But I was really like, when I went back and think about it, I was like, ooh, odd visual to have for that sort of thing, you know?
Yeah. All right, so of course, then we get inside, and I'm like, yep, I know exactly where this is going now. And it's interesting because it references, like I mentioned earlier, it references 2 TOS episodes, the first of which I'm going to mention now, and that is For the World is Hollow and I've Touched the Sky, where they're on an asteroid, but they don't know they're on a ship. It's a ship that's constructed like an asteroid. and they don't know they're on it. They think they're on a planet. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yep, that's what this is. It also reminded me of something else right away, though. A book I had read quite a few years ago called Star Trek: The Galactic Whirlpool. Now, this is written by David Gerald, who wrote Trouble with Tribbles. And I'm going to read you the back.
Okay.
It drifts in space, a huge dark object of shape and design. And inside this artifact is a lost colony from the planet Earth. There's a change there. Primitive human beings convinced that Kirk's landing party are demons and oblivious to the force that is pulling them into a galactic whirlpool of death. Because in this book, this ship is headed towards a sun, and it's going to be there in 13 months as opposed to 6. Galactic Whirlpool, guys. Check it out.
Okay. I mean, it's a simple story. You know.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been done in a lot of different sci-fis.
Anyway, it just this book immediately came to my mind because I had read it a few years ago, and it really just stood out to me.
Nice it stood out to you. Yeah, I mean, I like this interior because I love the effect on the ceiling. And I know that's a visual effect. You're gonna carefully go around the mountains. Like, I appreciate all the, especially when they're walking later on, all the movement they're doing has to match. I really appreciate that as just being that's interesting. I think I'll get into it later, but I liked the reveal, but I kind of felt like, oh, okay, well now we're, for the actors, they're so used to sets, then boom, they're on a practical environment for the next rest of the episode. It's kind of a strange, sudden.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then they have a discussion about. Here we reference the divorce again. Isaac's asking about why she left him and trying to get some information, which was funny. It was a great conversation, but
yeah, we need
to stop. We need to stop with the divorce thing. Seriously, I know it's going to play a major role through pretty much all of it, but seriously.
Well, I appreciate his angle though, saying you weren't all right in bed enough, therefore it failed. It's like, no, go away. And I love the line when he comes out of the actual ship party. Says, "Our ship looks like crap now."
Yeah,
that's great. That's great. A line that really stood out to me in the episode. It might have been the pilot, but I don't remember. Isaac said specifically, his primary function is to make a report on human behavior back to Kalon. So that's his purpose on the ship, is to report about human behavior. Interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And then they said the Kalons are assembled by a central production facility on their home planet. Now, I kept calling it a robot. Was I wrong? Maybe not. I mean, what did you think of this actually characterful dialogue?
I always assumed he was a full robot, so I knew he was manufactured. So it wasn't really. I didn't notice that line, to be honest. I just kind of.
Yeah, I just felt bad for calling him a robot the whole time because I assumed he wasn't, just because of the way he's done. But if he's actually a robot, then he's actually an AI, which I really like.
Yeah.
So
anyway, they find this little dwelling, kind of a shack.
Well, it's a cabin in the woods,
Yeah. Knock on the door, and there's a funny line about Jehovah's Witnesses.
Mm-hmm. He's a quick wit, that captain, because that's a pretty quick wit, sort of.
Yeah. And then, of course, they get shot at, and Isaac stuns the guy with their guns, which their guns are fantastic, by the way. I got to mention that. This is the one piece. There's a few things of tech we've seen this episode that I really appreciated, and I love seeing these things actually being used. Yeah, the way they're designed is pretty cool, but we'll talk about that in a design episode, talking about them.
And one of my favorite lines from the original trailer was, we come in peace. Well, we did shoot his dad. Apart from shooting dad, we come in peace. It's like, we don't mean to harm you. It's like, I mean, yeah, such a it knows what it's trying to be line. So I appreciate that.
We stunned him. You stunned him, right? Yeah, we just stunned him. Yeah, that was good. And then they talk about the where is it? The word of Doral.
Yes, the actual plot. The plot within the plot.
And this goes to another TOS reference, Return of the Archons, which has the Willow Landru. Same kind of thing. So again, tying two TOS episodes together like that, that was interesting.
And did you get the vibe that the young actor, the kid, looked like Captain Picard's fake son, just younger, in TNG? The one that the Ferengi give him. I just kept thinking his hair looked similar, his face looked similar.
Never even noticed that.
Yeah. And then we get the girls walking. This was an intriguing scene for me. What did you think?
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting to see that the interaction between the two of them, because Laura had mentioned in the last episode that I keep forgetting her name, the first officer.
Kelly.
I know all the alien names, but I don't know the human names.
Kelly Grayson.
Kelly. Yeah, how she said that Kelly was like her best friend, right? When she said in the last episode, she's talking about being upset about having to leave them behind and not go after them. You know. Anyway, so it was interesting to see this dynamic and having them talking about Ed. And I think Alora's got a little bit of a crush on the captain, which should be an interesting dynamic. So, yeah, it was interesting to just have a landing party having a regular conversation, which we do see sometimes in Star Trek, I guess. But I think this shows more of the everyday kind of aspect.
I do think this is where one of the pace issues comes in. There was a lot of, now we're going to stop and have a conversation between something, you know? I know it's because they use
character development.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I always prefer them on the ship because just the ship looks pretty, you know, just having them, like last episode talking the repromat, it's like, it's just a set, you know, you add something to it. I know also a lot of the budget is for, you know, the last part and all the sets and stuff, that, you know, that's where the budget went, so this sort of scene through a forest or through a field, I mean, that saves, you know, tens of thousands a second sort of thing. But I was like, okay, slowed it down a bit, although the visuals were really good here. I love the focal length shot where you see the grass that's in focus but the background's wonderfully out of focus. Really, really nice shot. That's one that really stood out to me. I liked the scene, and like you say, really picked up on she might fancy him a bit, because again, I love, you know, oh, how's it going with Josh? No, I broke up. Why? He doesn't like that I'm too strong. It's like, but he would know that you're too strong going into the relationship. It kind of felt like you can't go, you know, 12 dates and that just comes up then, if that's the entire selling, you know, that's the specialist thing about her race.
But he might think that he could get over it and then find out that he can't, so.
But yeah, and then obviously Ed being all for that, and I thought, well, you know, that would be an interesting thing to see where that goes, because you can, I mean, it's a good, I mean, Ed's a nice enough guy, and age shouldn't be a thing in the future per se, and all consenting, whatever. Don't know how old Ed is, but if he likes her for who she is in terms of what she has extra to offer, then I mean, it makes sense that she'd be like, well, he actually understands me. Yeah, it's interesting. And
then of course this armored vehicle comes up, which kind of surprised me. I didn't really expect that kind of level of technology. I thought more of like a pioneer western kind of vibe. And we got some armored guards with really interesting guns.
Yeah, and this is why I said in spoiler free. These are the costumes I really dug. I really liked the color palette. I really liked the shot. Just very, very, very well designed, aesthetically, and very unique looking. And yeah, the guns they actually did custom guns. I mean, it's you know, it's like a Sten gun with stuff attached, but it felt like alien. Yeah. And then I guess we get the classic damsel in distress. We get, you know, second in command being attacked. I like that the Lord got shot. That was a nice that
surprised me.
Escalation, love it.
Yeah.
And the way they handled that, you know, she sends a home beacon, like simple, straightforward, advanced. What would happen? You know, I appreciate the way that I skipped ahead a little bit there, but and what do you think about this plot twist of, you know, just classic damsel in distress getting kidnapped?
Kind of cliche, but at the same time, it's what we would see in any show. I mean, it's just a modern. It's just a trope of storytelling.
Would have been nice if she had like punched one in the face first, and they like tasered her, like a bit more of an actual struggle as opposed to just. I mean, that would have wasted time, but you know, to show a bit stronger. I mean, it works both ways, but some people don't like the tropes anymore.
Yeah, I thought it would have been interesting if Laura got captured because she's so much stronger, and maybe they put handcuffs on her that she couldn't break for some reason. Something like that would have kind of added a dramatic effect, considering what they were just talking about. But anyway, she gets shot, which
take the weaker one, and then you get this barn, which I was bemused by the cars outside. I was like, oh okay, minivans and three wheelers. It's like, okay, great, fair enough. Yeah. And it feels like the Amish in a sense is the vibe I was getting, but then not. And then they have okay, there they go. Then the secondary plot happens, which you said you liked. So tell us what the secondary plot is.
Well, the secondary plot is there's a colony ship with women and children on board getting attacked by the krill.
Uses Drian.
And they can get there in 20 minutes to help them out. And they just assume, well, hopefully the captain and guys don't need us. Let's take off. But they launch a communication buoy, and this is another part of the tech that I really like, seeing the communication buoy being launched, and it's a really cool looking communication device. I mean, I thought it was really neat. What did you think of that?
It was great. I noticed the little thrusters just slowly. I mean, it's really subtle because there's so much background stuff obscuring it, but just and the ship warps. Higher quantum drives off. Yeah, I like this. It's so. I mean, they're lucky. It's so close, 20 minutes. And it's the krill again. I appreciate this world is it's both world building and also lazy in a sense, because it's world building. These krill are the main pirates, but also stop using the same villain. But I liked we haven't set up the world enough to know who's what yet. It's like having the Klingons be in every Star Trek movie. It's lazy to a point. But I was like, yes, the krill are back, and we get to see the ship again. Would it be the same ship? Would it be a different ship? All those questions, and we're in it. And then we get this conversation, and I did like the food gag.
Because not food everywhere is not going to taste appealing to every race, right?
Yeah, I mean, why would it taste good to you? You're a completely alternate race with a completely different ecosystem. I really appreciated, like, it was so boringly shot, and that is what would happen,
Yeah.
I liked that. But this is where I thought the plot, another thing cropped up for me. They kept repeating the plot to us. They have to keep re-explaining, you're on a ship, blah, 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 to every single person, to the point where all the dialogue that our three heroes here get is the exact same lines every time. So they don't play any real part in the story in terms of building themselves up, because all they say is the same narrative thing. This is why character shows are really good, because you get all the lines are really them, and science shows are less good because everything is expositional to what happens. But I was like, come on guys, stop. They don't need to keep re-explaining it. It was wasting what they are.
True, but again, that harkens back to that TOS kind of storytelling vibe, because TOS that happened a lot in TOS as well.
Maybe it was very, very noticeable,
Yeah. Anyway, the next scene's really cool. The bullet extraction is neat. I love seeing the actual medical stuff in use.
Yeah.
And they kind of had like a dermal regenerator, which increased plasma acceleration or whatever. So that was really neat.
Tracked beam to take them out, then something to speed up metabolic regeneration. And again, it's day-to-day future tech. There are so many hundred years in the future. All it is a tracked beam that you can set for certain metals, so it only takes the thing that you need, and the other thing speed up metabolism. It's a great concept and really simple, and it's just future.
Yeah.
But we skipped a scene where we introduce to the villainish of the piece. I really liked his costume too.
Yeah.
And suddenly we have this bigger set piece, and I kind of like the building, and it's Robert Knepper. Do you recognise him from many, many, many things?
No.
You
I
don't?
recognized him, I just don't know what from.
Oh. Does this help?
He was with Samuel. I guess he's in Stargate or something?
Yeah, he's in Stargate Universe as a really good character. He's in lots and lots of things. But yeah, I had to go get this because I like Robert. I met him, like I said, obviously met him, but yeah, I liked him. He's such a villainous character. Like, he has that face and that vibe. Yeah. But yeah, he's nice.
Cool.
I like it. I just wanted to say that. But good performance. I think he's actually pretty depth-filled considering what they gave him. Although the scene when he's taking his gun, I really wanted him, because again, the trope is to threaten her and say, I want them, because they're going to interrogate her. I was hoping he would just point it at a window, just shoot, just for the fun of it, just test it, and say, oh, this is awesome, and then put it down. Do the thing that never ever happens, and just like...
Yeah, why would you shoot it? Want to shoot up your office, though?
Well, because he doesn't... Well, because he's a dictator, tyrant that does anything he wants. I mean, he's the ruler of this planet. His planet ship.
True.
So just shooting stuff for fun, why not?
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was going to shoot past her or something with the way he was holding it. But yeah. One scene I want to point out real quick was when they were unloading them out of the truck, and you saw from his point of view the street and the building. I swear to God, that's the exact same street and backlot they used to film Return of the Archons. It's the exact same buildings from TOS for that episode. I can pretty much guarantee it.
That's funny.
So I would love to find out for sure if that's a fact, and if anybody knows, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that's one of the backlots on Paramount, and it's the same set. which is a nice tie-in as well for the the Word of Landro and the Return of the Archon. So
there has to be street sets built. I mean, I've seen them in Universal Studio. I mean, you need them to film things. So yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? It's a controlled environment. Yeah, and I thought the costumes were very simplistic and neat. But the scene was interesting though. The I'm not going to kill him. I'll let you deal with him. That's an interesting take on that. And later on he says, I haven't got blood on my
hands.
Yeah, because he was very. I know the actor quite well. He was very underplaying his part, and by the end of it, I didn't think he was a real bleeper. He wasn't exactly like the. I guess I'll skip to end on that, but I felt like he's been born into this system,
Yeah.
And he's filling this role, and he knows it probably isn't really the right thing, but also he has to keep it going to keep the order. But he's not going to do it physically.
He has to keep his power too, so you got to maintain the status quo.
And like he took this weapon. He was very quiet about it. He was surprisingly, like he actually put a lot into it. I think it wasn't that standard villain. Yeah, I was kind of like for that actor, that was an interesting choice to give him that direction. It's not what you expect from that guy. He should just be menacing and bad and mean and don't like him. No, he was actually pretty. Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, I really hated him actually with the way he was torturing her. I really disliked him, and then at the end he's kind of like,
he's been worse, way worse. Believe me, that was very very subdued for that actor.
Nice.
He's great at villainous. And then you get revealed to the USS Drian. It's a ring ship, Stuart.
It is, yeah. It looks very Vulcan for sure.
It looks like a Power Ranger ship to me, based on that front.
Yeah, a little, yeah. But it was nice to see the krill ship again. The krill ships are very cool looking designs. Yep. And this space battle was awesome. It was nicely paced. Got to see a lot of the weaponry. We got to see torpedoes from the Orville.
Got to see
4 of them load missiles. Up, and boom, boom, boom. Krill is done. And then, boom, bitch! Oh. I love that. Because that's exactly what I would be doing on a bridge of a starship.
Yeah, that was one of those
Regulations be damned.
Yeah, that was him. That was just, yes.
Yeah,
perfect. Because that was they said the guy trusted him. Second in command trusted him, and it paid off. And yeah, good scene. Although it's strange that they were like in the previous episode they could not take out a krill destroyer. This episode they can take out a krill destroyer. Like,
I don't think that was the same size ship though. That seemed like a smaller design, and it seemed a little bit different in shape.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was trying to look at the basic design's obviously almost identical, and based on the window size, it looks very similar. What I was intrigued about is the back. If the back still had the same,
the back shot's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a bit different. I think it's probably the same model. They just tweaked it. Yeah, tricky. Although, in the last
I was going to say, if you go and look at the front of the ship, it doesn't seem to have quite as many the same details at the front either. So I think it is a little bit different. Ship.
Does it have the front guns or not?
You can't really tell, I don't think.
I don't think it does, based on that front view. I don't see anything.
Let me zoom in.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either, because the green bolts seem to be coming from those green building elements on the side there.
So it's probably not a big cruiser. It's probably just like a frigate that looks identical.
Yeah, I would say it's smaller.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that was a fantastic shot, fantastic scene, and I loved seeing the torpedoes.
Homing missiles almost. Yeah,
the space battle. This is like a mini B plot, but it was amazing. I loved it.
It was them being professional. And we really are setting Bortos as a good officer, as a good commanding officer. I mean, it's all teamwork, obviously, but good piloting combined with good weapons, combined with good whatever. And for a survey ship, they're able to also save the little guy as well, which I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they get damaged and they won't be able to move for 24 hours.
Thing is, that didn't add anything or change anything in the plot. I was really surprised. I thought maybe they'd be stuck there and another ship would find them and there'd be a 2-part or something, but I was like, you didn't. And them also not being there at the rescue, like even if they'd sent an assault team onto this ship, they wouldn't have known the situation, they wouldn't have known where they were, they couldn't have helped the scenario whatsoever. So I was kind of like, oh, they're damaged. Now they're back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little unnecessary, but...
It feels like a missing scene there or something.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Torture scene.
Yeah, torture scenes really bother me. So this kind of bothered me a little bit for getting the crap kicked out of her. But I loved her witty banter. There were some funny lines there that I have to remember for the future because I'm sure I'll use them at some point.
Yeah, it was a very well written scene.
Yeah.
On both sides, I really appreciate it, and I wrote some of the lines down because they're just clever, you know. And I will say, very very Star Wars music in the space battle. I was like, that riff is almost exactly off New Hope. It was very bizarrely close to Star Wars.
I didn't notice that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again.
I was like, that's really close to the belt of being sued there. How close that was.
Wow.
I appreciate in this torture scene she does tell the truth. Like normally in these torture scenes they have to hide it. She's like, nope, this is what's happening. Just tell me the truth. I did, you know. But to quote the best one of the episode, where are your friends? There's a little coffee shop on Lafayette Street in Soho called Central Perk. My friends are there.
Just don't hurt the monkey.
Just don't hurt the monkey.
That's the one I found least impressive. It was clever, and I didn't get it the first time because I didn't hear it all. The second time I picked it up, but
why? Which one do you like the most?
Where are your friends? Last time I saw them, they were banging your mom. Or one was banging your mom, the other one was high-fiving them.
Also brilliant.
It just speaks to my humor. I'm sorry. You find the more sophisticated humor.
Oh
in
no,
things.
I love both. I just thought that
okay.
the cleverness that she took that so far.
And again, it's referencing pulp culture. They referenced Dora the Explorer. They referenced Star Wars. Now Friends. I love that. And Sound of Music and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
Love it. And that goes to Seth MacFarlane's storytelling with Family Guy. It's all pop culture references and just you know, so.
And speaking of pop culture references, we have a great Star Trek 3 reference. Or 4.
We do?
4. Because Alara, I forget her name, she has a headband to hide her ears.
Yes.
And I saw that. I was trying to register the scene. I was like, oh, that's a great. It's so subtle, but why not steal from the best?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Well, they wouldn't be able to do anything with Bortus, so I mean, hey.
Well, yeah.
And that's and that scene where they go up to the guard. At first, I thought the guard had like wooden legs, just with the way that's outfit's designed.
Yeah.
I had to look twice. I'm like, well, okay, that's just okay.
Yeah.
I love the upper half of the costume. The lower half.
They feed into itself because it's one piece, not gaiters, so it feels very No, I really like this scene. I thought this was again just the right sort of humor, and again, this is that's how I play it. Like,
Nick, hey, you're doing guard duty now. How long you been doing that? Boom, and then the stun was awesome.
Yeah. We did lacrosse together in college, and he's like, that's great. But imagine the guard. He's like, "Sir, I don't know you. Sir, I don't know you." So
I don't know what lacrosse is. What?
Yeah, college. What's that? Yeah.
I've never heard the name Nick.
Yeah, it's a good scene though. And the truth serum, which isn't a truth serum, it's just a pain serum to make you give the truth, which I thought was actually quite a nice little spin on that. Very simple, but a good little torture method. And I felt very sad for her. Like,
yes.
I feel like she might. There seems to be continuity in the show. She might actually be affected by this, because I can't imagine many times in their day-to-day work as space explorers they get tortured with pain devices. You know what I mean? So I feel this might actually affect her psychologically a little bit, because I don't know how long that was. I mean, imagine 10 minutes of constant agonizing pain that you can't endure. I mean, obviously she could, but that's not the point. You know.
Well, you're forced to endure it. You have to.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then they save the day. Laura rips the doors off, and she opened the jar of pickles. I'm sure he asked her that before she did it. And then it's like stun, boom. I love that scene. That's more of what Star Trek needs. I find Star Trek's a little more subtle sometimes with how it goes about doing that kind of thing. This was more action movie oriented.
Well, it wasn't. See, that's obviously you're going the JJ route there, but it was a very direct, very realistic approach. They went in, took out the guards, had a conversation with the dude, couldn't let him leave, shot him. Like it was just what would happen. There was no like suspension of disbelief or and it was so quick that you could justify no guards hearing necessarily or all that rubbish. And obviously her holding him up. Like, we are really reinforcing her strength. That I think is going to be even more important later on. Maybe like an episode she loses her strength or something.
I thought the same thing. That's going to be an excellent plot point. Yeah.
Yeah, because they actually cleverly set up continuity things throughout. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an episode where they go back in time and then they're married again and they have to relive that, or he has a chance to go back in time and fix the mistake that, or she to fix the mistake she did and realizes if they stay together for those 10 years,
Ooh.
they'll both die of a disease. So they have to break up to save each other. Like, I feel like they're actually being very clever with the plot points. They like the Bortus thing.
So that'd be like their city on the edge of forever.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
wouldn't that be cool? Like, Grayson has to
Yeah.
go back and not fix her plot line.
This is kind of off topic here, but do you think they're ever going to do an alternate dimension thing, like a mirror universe
Hey,
kind
I
of
hope so.
episode?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. I want multiple seasons so they can explore every great sci-fi trope. They need to. They should do. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get the antidote and inject her, which I was very thankful for. I thought he was going to break the vial or something, and she'd have to suffer for a little while longer.
I appreciate how he knew he'd lost. Because he wasn't doing it to be. He wasn't doing it vindictively in the same way. The way they played that was interesting. He was doing it to get a thing because he wanted. I think he also wanted out of the situation himself. Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a scene there that missed for me as far as a line went, and that was like, nice name. No, it's not. It's just that wasn't funny. I mean,
That's
it's something
petty.
I would probably say if I was pissed off, but I
Yeah.
can kind of appreciate it. But at the same time, I don't think it really worked in that context. So.
Again, there's some really strong lines and some less strong lines. Although the names, I mean, they're like the kid's name is Tamerlane. I thought Tamerlock? Oh, not Tamerlock. No, not Tamerlock. And the other guy was again very similar to Tamerlock as a name, or Hammerlack.
Yeah.
How do you have Tamerlane and Hammerlack combined as Tomerlock? I mean, come on, it's just such a. I just found that funny.
Little shoutouts, yeah.
So we find this door, or they find this door, which they've known for a while, which you would think would be a hint to them. That's why they're converting, because they find this specialist thing. And the elevator scene, not how I thought they'd play the elevator scene. What did you think?
Hold on.
Oh.
Before the elevator scene, they had opened that door, and Isaac's fingers like retracted, and he has like little tendrils that unlock the door.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. See more of his character, more of what his people can do. He's like kind of like an R2D2 with the arm pops out and interfaces with the computer.
Because if he's the most advanced, most intelligent out of all of them, show it.
Yeah, like that was really cool. I really enjoyed that scene. I turned to Sylvia and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what else he can do, because I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more about him as well.
Yeah, but an elevator scene, how do you think that was played?
It's cool. It's cool. It was very awkward and very Seth MacFarlane Family Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was extremely awkward. I don't know.
I was just convinced though that they'd walk in and then alien music would start playing, elevator music, and they'd say, "Well, the race
That'd be
is
funny.
The race isn't a bit backwards, but they have really good elevator music." And they're like, "I've heard better." And he's like, "No, come on." They start like dancing a little bit, and they're like, "Ed, stop." It's like, "Wow, it's good music."
They need you to write for the show. That would have been better. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
I thought that'd be because just what do you do the weekend? Oh, nothing. It's like that's not. I thought that if he said that, you'd ask everybody. Like the farmer guy is like, "So, what do you do at the weekend?"
Yeah.
Farm. Is that
Yes.
it? I'm a slave. I gotta do it. It's like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, there was so much potential because I thought just an elevator is such a setup.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. And again, I'm really dissecting this thing. I'm really trying to find not the faults but the missed opportunities.
Yeah.
But that's because I enjoyed it so much. I'm really invested in the world that I want it to enhance it. And I thought,
Yeah. No, those are great suggestions. Yeah, because the second time around, I watched the reactions in the back, and there wasn't really much reaction to what he was saying, which bothered me a little bit too.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, it would have been funny if he asked the farmer, "Yeah, I milked the something beast, some alien name," and he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, no one had
Good to know.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
at the end of the elevator ride, they arrive on the bridge of this ship, which is remarkably sparse, in my opinion, but that speaks to future advancement and very advanced tech. Although one thing that bothered me is the control console wasn't centered with the view screen. It was offset to the left just a little bit, and I'm like, why did they do that? That's an odd choice.
Yeah.
But
this set made me laugh because they built the first view, and the back view is all green screen. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's not great, but it's a very simple shot. Hell of a big set to build. I'm sure this is getting reused, or this was the courtroom. This is a redress. The way.
Oh
it
yeah,
looks.
for sure.
But I liked how. I mean, it's a big ship. How do you represent a big ship's bridge? We'll reveal the purpose of the ship in a minute. But it was very. Yeah, I was like, okay, bridge. I mean, yeah, nothing to write home about at all. But I was kind of surprised the scale and then also the non-scale. And then Stuart, the thing you talked about specifically in the spoiler-free review, you can spoil it now, Stuart.
We have a guest cameo appearance by Liam Neeson of all people,
Yes.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yes.
His particular set of skills.
And Ra's al Ghul, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I assume it wasn't spoiled for you because you saw it live. I saw it in the morning. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's in it.
I was surprised to see him. I thought that's great, but it's such a small, literally a cameo role. When you got an actor like that, why wouldn't you tag him for a big line or a big, budget probably?
All that scene did to add some real. You felt sad for the guy, like he actually played that well, but also it shows there is Irish accents in space.
Of course there is.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, I mean, you can tell they filmed it either at his house on a green screen, or he just walked into the local studio, a studio, and just felt like it was the most cheap sort of cameo. But again, they can only film for they can only afford him for like an hour, which is, I mean, hey, sure. But I said it made sense because of A Million Ways to Die in the West and stuff. I mean, I'm sure he's friends with the guy. Yeah.
And then we find out that this thing is the Sky Dome in Toronto, and it can open.
I just felt nervous at this point. I was like, they haven't turned the system on in 2,000 years. What if it's damaged? Don't open the skylight. The sky roof. Please, it might be dangerous. What if it crashes? What if it's cracked? Please, don't do this to the people.
It wasn't built by Ford. I'm just kidding. No, and when they look at him and he says, open it, I could actually picture Picard saying the same thing in that position.
Yeah, it was a very sweet ending.
Yeah,
it was a nice addition that didn't add anything thematically. Like it didn't need to be there, but it added something. I should say.
It made me wonder: did they have 24 hours of sunlight, like constant sunlight?
Oh, yes, that was an interesting thing. He said, "What is night?" Yeah, absolutely. They don't know a world that isn't always day, which is really interesting.
And something else they mentioned early on. They mentioned that these guys are from the Beyond, which is fine. But they also mentioned, are you from the underground or the underworld?
Yep.
And I'm like, I thought that was going to be the whole thing, like the Morlocks from the Time Machine, living underground. Mm-hmm. Never referred to again in the episode.
They set up more than they paid off.
Yeah. And I didn't mention that earlier because I completely forgotten about it, but I had to mention it now.
I'm assuming there's prophecies and, I mean, there's religious texts they mentioned. This is a theocracy, So I'm sure there's other things. But it was strange. They should have doubled down on the initial concept. And then we have this really, really great set of shots of this thing opening. Oh. And again, this is why I said in spoiler-free review, this show with budget and modern technology, they can realize the concepts that they just couldn't years ago. I would not want to do this shot because it's an intricate and annoying shot, and they realize it so well. I mean, I felt the building was a bit, the building shot where it comes over and it's like clearly the most day-to-night CG ever. That's fine. But I was like, I mean, that end shot where you see the internal town, gorgeous, and just realize it was I was not expecting that to end on. And it was a great end on, Yeah. Really gave you more to relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unlike some of the other episodes, we don't get kind of like a twist ending that has something unrelated to the main plot, which was kind of nice. It's kind of a self-contained story.
Yeah.
But the last shot of the Orville taking off was beautiful. Again, the CGI in this show is really impressive. So
yeah. Although, quick question: now we can see the edges of this world.
Yes.
How do they stop people from going up to the wall?
I wondered the same thing. Because it doesn't seem very big when you look at it like that.
I mean, you could walk New York in a day. So clearly, I mean,
Well,
it said New York City, not the state.
I know, but still, I mean, 2 days maybe, I would say.
Okay, I haven't been to New York City, but I mean, like you can traverse that, and especially since left to right. I mean, you shouldn't be able to get lost really.
Yeah.
And every direction has a wall.
Well, so they have the guards patrolling that shoot people if they're out wandering around near the mountains.
It depends, because it's interesting the evolution of this culture. They started out with more technology, not fast and light though, which was the big thing. This took 2,000 years, and they haven't even got anywhere yet. So they got technology, but they haven't got. It hasn't. It's just like Doctor Who. There's an episode called Genesis of the Daleks, where as the advanced technology gets damaged and gets old, they have to get more and more primitive. So they've been fighting this war for hundreds of years, and now they're fighting the muskets because the laser guns are all run out of battery. You know, they don't know how to repair them anymore. So obviously all the technology has gone all the way right down into the basics. But what do they start with? And you know, like say they were guards, but they're not walking the perimeter saying, right, don't go, you know, past this wall. I mean, they can't have done that for 2,000 years in laser guns. So I'm imagining,
I know.
if they understand this, if they understand that the universe ends at a wall, I mean, we can't understand that. But do you think a culture could accept the universe ends at a wall?
Yeah, I think so. That's because they say there's nothing beyond, and then there's people from the beyond, or this big earth-shattering thing. Like, yeah, I can see 2,000 years makes a lot of difference, especially when you're being controlled by political powers. So
yeah.
But
so yes, Stuart, final thoughts, final notes, rundown for this is a very long review. I think we really broke it down longer than any other ones by a way, which is very surprising. A lot of little stuff happened, I guess. Yeah,
well, it was a good episode. My final review is, as we gave it in the spoiler-free review, an 8 out of 10. I think it kind of hit a lot of the good sci-fi beats, a lot of good filmmaking beats. CGI was good. It was just a good story overall, and I think it really fits in with this genre and really was done brilliantly well. One or two things that, you know, could have probably been changed or tweaked a little bit, especially with timing and pacing maybe, and humor as well. One or two things need to be changed, but overall, great story, and I really appreciated the callbacks to TOS, some of those storytelling beats, and the pop culture references, as always, were a very nice touch. So
it's a very well executed premise that needed one quick rewrite in the script. Like, it could have been fixed in the scripting process because everything else was done so well, sort of thing. And I think I like the social commentary, you know, the theocracy, you know, subtext of, you know, all classic TOS, classic, you know, saying, you know, have freedom and all that. But yeah, good episode again for episode 4. Not what I was expecting. A lot of great references. We've got a lot of great tonal stuff. Interesting character development potentially. It gives you more. I wonder where it's going. And just like with Discovery, I want the weeks to go quicker now, which I don't want because my life will run out quicker, but I want to see where it goes because they are doing these larger story plots. You know, will season 1 end on a cliffhanger because they want to have season 2? Will it end on a big double-parter? You know, what would a double-parter look like for Orville? You know, they can do anything with both of these shows, and they're doing so well. So I'm really intrigued to see where they go. I mean, these shows could have been rubbish, and they're not. And we get to watch great sci-fi and talk about it for an hour, which is ridiculous.
It's longer than the show itself.
Yeah. Well, again, when you break down a 2-minute dialogue sequence in 5 minutes, it sort of extends things a bit. But well done, guys. Another great episode, and look forward to seeing you next episode.
That's right. So what are you guys' thoughts? What are your reactions? Put in the comments below. Please like this video, as that helps us, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything.
Yep.
And if you really want to be notified every time we upload, which could get really annoying, click the bell and notification icon, because we upload a lot of stuff and a lot of great content. And looking forward to seeing all of you subscribed and notified.
And if you want to support this show and what we do directly, there's a couple of great ways you can do it. Either go over to Patreon, which is a monthly donation service for YouTubers like us. You want to support not just our shows, our reviews, but also our channel. Give a little bit each every month. You know, $5 less than any other subscription. You know, or $2. I mean, it all amounts up if enough of you give, and it helps us produce this show, other shows, and develop. Because we want to always improve, but we need the funds to do that. Or a one-time donation at Trekyards.com. You click that donate button. You just give a little bit as like a thank you. You know, we get sort of often $20 our way, and they all, you know, accumulate, and we can then buy kit and improvements, and believe me, you notice the improvements by more shows and more cool things, and it does help. So if you can, please do.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Kongs.
See you in the future.
Bye, guys.